Good morning, everyone. We are here for what is sure to be one of the best matchups in this round of 16 weekend. These are two of the teams that many people have been hyping up as some of the very best in the tournament. It is Germany versus Australia in the round of 16. This is surely a battle of the giants here. Two teams who have some of the best players in the world facing off on one of these early round pools. You know, so many of these maps are going to be so close. My name is Dio, and I am happy to be joined by Bubbleman for this cast. Good morning, Bubble.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be here. It's my first time on the cast this year, and what a match to come into. Germany, Australia, it's the storyline, you know? WhiteCat comes out of nowhere, hits the #1 spot. Everyone knows his name, and then mrekk just decides, well, okay, it's my turn too, and takes it off him. We got the #1 and the #2 player in this match. And that's to say nothing about the rest of their team.
Yeah, both of the rest of these teams, you know, obviously one player does not make the full team in a 4 versus 4. You do not get dominant score lines like these teams had in the round of 32 with just one player popping off. The rest of these teams are fantastic and supplement very well what the best skill sets are for their star players. In particular, the Australian roster, incredible speed players all around. They've got a lot of good specialists into the hard rock, into the hidden as well, and it makes it so much easier for mrekk to come in on the vast majority of these maps and put up the same scores that he really has been known for throughout this past year of tournament play, where he has improved just tremendously all throughout the year. And the same can be said for the German roster. Tons of fantastic speed players on that team. Tons of players also who are very, very good at that hidden and at reading. So I think there's going to be a lot of toss-up maps between these two teams, and that's also part of what makes this matchup so exciting, is that even the specialties of these teams are relatively similar, with both of them having that primary speed specialty. It is so fun to watch matchups like this.
It is indeed. You've just got two teams that head to head you really can't separate them. They're, as you said, their specialties are the same. I think they do have a couple of different areas that they also can branch out into. Say, Germany have hard rock. I know Australia have a pretty strong hard rock roster, but looking at Germany, they just really, I think, have that edge. And then also Australia, the Germans like to talk about how German hidden just doesn't exist. I don't think that's entirely the case. They have okinamo, they have criller. Dustice can play hidden as well, and of course they have WhiteCat. But then Australia, they have machine, they have mrekk, of course. Both these teams just have almost anyone can play anything. Yeah, there really is not a lot of defined weaknesses on either of these rosters. If you have to separate a single weakness on either roster, and even then it hurts to call it a weakness, because neither of these teams are really bad at anything, right? It's just something that they're not quite as good at, that they might not have quite as strong of a roster for compared to some of the other skill sets. I think that it is, and it comes down a little bit to a very strong hard rock roster for Germany, as you said, and a slightly stronger hidden roster for Australia, where they do have, you know, very strong hidden players. And even Jordan the Bear has been surprisingly good on hidden recently. Machine, very, very strong on that hidden, as you said, is supplemented very well, of course, by the fantastic scores that always come out of mrekk. And then I think Vivace is probably going to be their last member on the hidden, which is again, very scary roster.
We do see a couple bans come out, by the way. Australia banning out Aicho in free mod. That is that awkward anti-aim pick. Lots of pattern aim, lots of polygonal stuff, lots of really weird wide angle jumps in that map. And then a double time 1 ban out from Germany. So already starting off with some dips into that double time modification. It's just the aim map is banned out this time around, but it does show some respect from both teams towards what we thought would be some of the best skill sets for either of them, with Aicho, particularly for the Hard Rock members on the German roster, being a very, very strong pick.
Yeah, that's definitely a ban towards the team that favors multiple mod combinations. We got Hard Rock 2 is the first pick, Lapix Voyager. Now, compared to the Hard Rock 2 from last round, the CS 6.5, this is a lot more technical in its nature. Lots of doubles, lots of cut streams, it's a lower BPM at 145. But of course, it's got that standard CS 6.5 precision you come to know and love from these Hard Rock 2 picks. And I don't think either team went into this pick last week.
No, in fact, the only map that got picked up last week between either of these teams that was a full Hard Rock pick was Hard Rock 1 for Germany last weekend. So this is the first time outside of qualifiers where we see either of these teams playing that high circle size Hard Rock. One thing to note is that this map is probably a lot more similar to the Hard Rock 2 from qualifiers than it is to last week. You talked about a lot of the finger and aim control components to this map, where you've got a lot of really wonky low BPM stuff happening in this pick. And that's a little bit similar to what went on in qualifiers, where frankly speaking, both teams were incredibly close on both of their runs. Run 2 for both teams, they were within 100,000 of each other, and run 1 for both teams, they were within 300,000 of each other. So this is an overall very close, very contested skill set between these two teams. We do see almost a full roster for Australia, waiting on a couple other players to come in, and full roster ready to go for Germany as well.
Just waiting to get the players in and ready. Looking like good looks are out into the chat. We will head into map number 1 of... I quite possibly think this is the match that everyone's going to turn up for. It's Germany-Australia. Two powerhouses. Australia maybe inting qualifiers a little bit, not having mrekk. Still managing to put up a decent, if not good, performance. Now against one of the teams slated to take the entire thing, at least reach grand finals.
You can already see that finger control and aim control components coming into this map. Lots of 1/3, lots of high spacing all around. You see an early break come out from Milo Milkshake on this map. The machine either breaking at the very start or dropping a couple slide rends here or there, down about 10 combo. hallowatcher finding an early break for the German roster. The rest of the lobby, Dustice, WhiteCat, Criller, mrekk, and Vivace all still holding on to their FCs at the moment. But machine dropping down once again for Team Australia, and that is a little bit of a concern. You do still have those 3 full combos now for Team Germany, and with Milo Milkshake finding that second drop, it's just mrekk and Vivace left to stand against these 3 FCs, plus a supporting combo from hallowatcher for Team Germany. So this is looking like a fairly solid breakpoint chance for Germany at the moment.
This is really the battle of time zones. We got Germany, who's UTC 2 at the moment, and then Australia, who's something like UTC plus 10, plus 11? It's 11 PM over there at the moment, and it's maybe 1 PM for the Germans. It's all about what's your preferred time to play the game. Do the Germans think they're more awake earlier in the day? Australia must be used to playing early or playing later on because of all the tournaments they enter. A lot more breaks come out, but it's still even. Milo Milkshake, mrekk, WhiteCat, and Dustice, and then the last FC's gone. Vivace is gone.
It's actually
really holding pretty
still
strong.
left up. Criller's still left up over on Team Germany, so there's still one full combo left at the end of everything when it's all said and done. And it's on Team Germany. It's a big part of the reason why they are able to take that pick, but those early breaks as well, really doing a number on the score. And like you said, if you're not super awake for these beginning picks on Team Australia, if you are struggling with those time zones a little bit, we saw them, you know, try and reschedule this match into a bit of an earlier time. It was rescheduled from 12 to 11 UTC, so pushed back an hour even, and it is still Germany with a really fantastic overall performance. You've got the full combo on Criller, hallowatcher as well, just an early break, but 770k by the end of it, contesting with the highest scores on Team Australia.
That's not an FC to scoff at. This map is really difficult. Lots of intense finger control sections here that you have to switch between 1/4, 1/3. All on CS 6.5 as well, so you can't ignore your aim. And NoMod 2, the next pick, Germany taking Amber Wishes. I was saying before the match started in the internal chat that I think the team that's going to take NoMod 1 or NoMod 2 is likely the team that's going to take Tiebreaker. Would you agree with that, Dio? I think that's a fair sentiment, because the Tiebreaker is there's a little stream section, but it's mostly aim.
It's the Tiebreaker this week is really interesting. There's so much going on in it. It's one of those typical prog rock maps where you've just got anything from the super high star rating aim to almost speed stamina requirements at the lower level, and then you've got some really wonky super fast sliders in that map as well. It's so tough to call who takes something like that, but I think when you look at maps like that test that wide variety of skill sets that are just sort of all over the place but really do hone in on those high bar mechanics, it is the team that is favored to go into the late rounds more often, that is favored to take some of those highbrow mechanics within the regular match that tend to do better on those types of tiebreakers, as long as they've got, the prowess on technical skill sets to supplement it. So this is definitely an interesting pick because of that. It is pure stamina here this week. Far less stream aim than last week. There is a little bit of that flow aim requirement. It does get a little bit spaced out during those key eye times in this map, but far more stamina intensive than last week for sure here in the round of 16 for NoMod 2.
Straight in. It doesn't waste any time getting started this map. WhiteCat finds a small drop immediately. Gonna be around about 100k off his score by the end of it. That's how brutal Score V2 is in terms of maximum scoring potential. Which, if it does come down to that, then it will be a pretty crazy scoreline, because we'll see 7 FCs.
One thing to note about this map is that it doesn't really get any more difficult than what we've already seen, right? We've already gotten through some of those higher spacing sections, and these in-between parts here, these are not at all really difficult for any of these players. Once we get back to the spacing and the key eye times, that's really where it starts to come into its own again. But we've already seen this type of spacing in the intro section of the map, so as long as these players can be consistent enough to keep hitting this over and over again, that's really the challenge in this map. But nobody dropping even accuracy right now. Look at the axe over on Team Australia. 99.72 is the lowest accuracy that they have, and even over on Team Germany, yeah, you've got 99% on Okinamo as the lowest outside of WhiteCat with that early break, but 99.91% on Umbre's full combo right now. This is just about as close as it gets, right? One player with a super early drop in WhiteCat, and that's it. He's down 50k from an FC, or where an FC would be with that accuracy, right? So this is incredibly close between these two teams. It is slight act difference, it is slight combo difference, and that is it. And as we go into the last third of the map, that means that any break coming out from any player is going to be super impactful here.
The 100 from mrekk. Spacing increases a little bit into the outro. Had to be mentioned, the 1/3s didn't catch any accuracy from any players as well. Noting that everyone well prepared for this match.
As you have to be when you are up against another powerhouse in one of these early rounds. These types of maps can come down to just the slightest of breaks, and there goes Criller right at the end of the map as well. It's going to limit the score to around that 750, 800k mark. There goes Umbre as well, the highest accuracy in the lobby, but it's not all for naught. Does find the combo break near the end of the map, and despite okinamo and WhiteCat holding all throughout the rest of the map, Jordan LR7 is going to be the only one so far to break on Team Australia. There goes Suffix as well. It's mrekk and Dumii now holding on into the ending, and that is going to finish them out well. Still over 900k for both members who dropped at the end of the map as well. Suffix and Jordan, those may as well be full combos, because that is the type of score that you expect to come out of a full combo on a NoMod map in tournament. WhiteCat as well, basically with the FC, drops a few misses right at the start and then recovers the act beautifully into the rest of the map. But those other early breaks from Criller and Umbre, just not quite what Germany needed. Those breaks near the end of the map completely decide it, and that is, Bubba, you were talking about it before, the kind of scoreline we were going to see on this map if that early break from WhiteCat did end up mattering. That's basically the scoreline we saw.
In fact, it didn't matter too much. It was 85k, I think, that he dropped from that miss, which is exactly the same. 80k across on Suffix and Jordan LR7. So really, it wouldn't have mattered too much. Only 2 misses, and that is a crazy team score. 3.8 million in the round of 16. I think we'll be seeing a few more of those today, however. And that's not to say that, you know, we will be seeing them on DT, because I think we'll see much higher on DT. With the 1.2 multiplier on that, I think it'll be maybe 4.6 mil, 4.7 mil for teams. 2 breakpoints, however. Neither team gaining an edge yet. We've got 2 picks, Hard Rock 2, NoMod 2.
So after those early break points, you know, from a player's perspective, where do you readjust your strategy at this point? Do you start to pick into some of the more stamina intensive maps if you're Australia? It seems like that's the way they're thinking. They end up going for double time 2 here. Classic Senya DT in the DT2 slot for this round. Basically just burst speed all throughout. It's what you would typically expect from a Senya map in any double time pool.
Lots of long bursts at 255 BPM. It's a song that a lot of people will know. Been around in this game since 2013, I think. This is a remap by Lucent. Lunatic difficulty. Not the shortest of DT maps. Despite it being a modern remap, it is pretty old-styled. Of wider angle jumps. There's no doubles in this, like there are in the map that has been around in the community for a while, has been seen in a few tournaments. I think this might possibly be a nod to that map.
I think definitely part of the reason why those doubles were foregone when mapping this is that it is meant to be in that DT2 slot. You tend to try and stay away from a little bit of that finger control when you do have a dedicated finger control pick in double time 3 in this pool. So definitely fits well with what was intended from the get-go for this map. And like you said, I think a lot of Lucid maps actually kind of have that slight old styling, the almost, you know, 2015-ish kind of feel to them, where you've got some of those wide angle jumps that do make it the slightest bit uncomfortable, make the aim, you know, that little bit trickier, that differentiates it a lot from what you expect to see in DT1, where it is that very comfortable, almost farm-style aim, where you just got acute angle jumps with nothing really difficult going on there. There's a lot more obtuse wide-angle jumps in this map instead. But really the test in this, you know, there is some of that aim. You've got some of those squares that start off right away, but you can already see all of the bursts in this map, and lots of consecutive bursts, consecutive triples all over the place as well, which are deceptively difficult on stamina. You might look at this map and say, oh, it's only triples, it's only some 5-note bursts, but when you put them right in a row like this, it becomes much more draining on the stamina. The control required to swap between those single taps and the bursts is much more difficult than just, you know, one burst every once in a while.
And this could even come down to an act battle. This is the chorus, but the choruses don't get any harder than the verses are. Very consistently difficult throughout the entire map.
It is going to be that act battle. It's going to come down to ever so slight amounts of hundreds. You've got, you know, KHZ dropping some extra hundreds on the side of Germany. You've got really a full team actually down right around that 99% mark for Australia. But there goes KHZ's combo, is the first one to drop alongside Dumii, who answers right afterwards. So it's still 3 full combos to 3, nothing traded between the two teams. But look at the accuracy on all these full combos for Germany, and the combo drop that comes through now for Jordan LR7. It's Suffix and mrekk holding on to these two FCs for Australia. They have to pray for Risiing, Dustice, or Okinamo to drop down on Team Germany.
Actually missing again. It's still 3-2. Possibly getting those early match nerves out. This is the third map of the match. It is his first that he is appearing in.
I think it's definitely
see the shake after the break.
Finds another break with those shakes and finds another slider break for KHZ. Definitely remember having the most trouble with this. Look at the accuracy on Okinamo and Dustice as well. Both of those full combos with 99.8 for Okinamo, 99.6 for Dustice. There goes Risiing's combo, by the way. It's Jordan LR7 and Dumii with a good recovery, but there goes Suffix's FC. And it's only mrekk now with the FC for Australia. This pick after NoMod 2 definitely made sense for Australia, but unfortunately at the end of it, it is these two super high act full combos, 5 100s for Dustice, 2 100s for Okinamo to come out from Team Germany, and still almost a million score from Risiing with that late map miss. I mean, that is a fantastic overall scoreline from the German roster. Not to downplay Australia's score as well. 3 S ranks, 750k on both Jordan and Dumii, 980k on Suffix and the FC from mrekk. It's just that difference of the extra full combo for Germany that does put them over the edge.
Man, that Okinamo Dustice pairing is timeless. You've seen it since 2018 in countless tournaments, and it continues to deliver.
It definitely delivers. Those two have just been, they've been tearing it up, especially recently in 2021 in a lot of different team tournaments, and it is always so fun to watch when you see them both go in on maps like that and just wreak havoc, because
yeah,
it is that's what they do. That's the specialty, right? Is those double time stamina.
It is indeed. I mean, quite surprisingly as well, because Dustice has just been taking a break, possibly even into retirement in 2021. Hadn't been playing at all. 2020, he was very inactive as well. So to see him still be playing and to still be putting up these performances, even though he doesn't play the game actively, you can really tell he has an incredible grounding in fundamentals, just to be able to pick the game back up again and destroy it. Have to look at the next map though. Esperos, picked by Team Red?
picked by Germany.
I don't know. I thought that Germany picked DT2. Sorry, I just completely Oh, that one hit me. Right.
We've got ourselves a triple breakpoint match, Bubble. We've got ourselves 3 breakpoints in a row now. Will it be the 4th?
They're just trading picks. They're picking for each other. This, however, I'm not too sure whether it will be a breakpoint. We've got Machine, Dumii, mrekk, but then on the other side, okinamo, Dustice, of course, criller, WhiteCat. Who is Australia's 4th for this?
I almost want to say it's like... I almost want to say it's Jordan Bear as their 4th.
As he joined the lobby.
Yeah, it would be either him or Vivace for me, but I feel like this is a slightly less slider-focused map compared to last week, where I think it would be more so a Vivace map. This one, though, it's also super low BPM. I think it's probably very up in the air as to which one of them does go in for this map. But this is a lot less so focused on those super high-velocity sliders with those slider ticks from last weekend. More so focused on can you aim tons of smaller sliders, still with those weird slider shape, and without those slider ticks, but in between them, lots of high spacing patterns, lots of those typical space triples you see a lot in tech maps in the modern day. But this is like a specialty pick from Germany, right? This is Kriller's wheelhouse. This is WhiteCat's wheelhouse for sure. I think those two at the top of the lobby are the players to watch for Germany. Okinamo and Dustice, not to downplay them, but this is the specialty of a couple other players on the German roster for sure.
Yeah, and indeed lots of cut streams too. Very easy to miss time changing from one cut stream to another. We'll be watching for breaks. During those, we've got these longer sliders, more rhythmic sliders as well. Differences in lengths. You see a lot of tech maps that have these sliders that are the same length in terms of beat count, I suppose.
One thing to note, we did see an early break for Dustice right at the start of the map. A little bit over 100 combo in. So he is down that about 100 combo. Jordan the Bear, though, is down the accuracy a bit, 97%. Excuse me, was on 96% shortly before then, so the score relatively even between these teams, despite only that slight 100 combo difference. There goes the break for both Dustice and Jordan at the same time. Those 4th members for both teams dropping down the combo. It is 3-3 now between those FCs. An extra break comes through for Machine on the Australian roster, and now it's 3 FCs for Germany. WhiteCat, Criller, and okinamo still on those full combos. mrekk and Dumii doing what they can to try and combat it, but there goes Dumii on that Excel decel stream, and now it is 3-1. mrekk left to stand alone against the German barrage. Man, look at these FCs going for them. There goes WhiteCat and okinamo, however. Now it's only Criller on the German roster. This is a 300,000 score lead, but we are nearing the end of the map. There is only so much potential score left for any of these players. And with that 3-way wipe for the supporting scores on Australia, even if mrekk holds the full combo and Criller breaks here, there's not a way that this comeback happens. That is definitely the win for Germany, and we finally have ourselves a normal point. No more break points. 3 in a row was enough. Germany putting up the first successful pick in this lobby.
Breakpoint finally gets converted. We finally have an advantage on our hand. The way I like to see points sometimes is not as individual points. Say 3-2 doesn't really tell the tale of the match itself, but when there's a 2-point gap, when there's a 2-point advantage, you know one of the teams has a breakpoint and has safety in their match point. And now Germany, if they take the next pick that they make, they will take it to 4-2. Also assuming Australia take their next pick, then it will be match point for them. As long as they take their next pick after that, they're entirely safe. So the pressure's on for Australia. They need to break right back. It is possible on this map pool. It's not a large map pool. But of course, in a shorter best-of series is best of 9. Far less likely to be getting into those contested territories of maps. Got DT3 still open. DT1 was banned by Germany. NoMod 5's around also, and they have a few other picks like NoMod 3 they did pretty well on. Hard Rock 1. What do you think they're gonna go, Dio?
That's what I'm thinking about for myself. I'm really not sure. It's so tough to delineate which picks are more successful for either team. You shouted out NoMod 3. That's definitely an area, you know, that low BPM aim control. The alt map in NoMod, very, very reading intensive this week, though, almost. You've got so many overlaps in this map that make it very different from a lot of the alt picks in previous weeks, where, you know, it's much more so just about can you aim these really wonky low BPM flow aim wiggly patterns all over the place. This week it's that, and it's can you read these perfect overlaps, can you read these patterns that double back on themselves, and it becomes even more so of a challenge because of that, despite the relatively low star rating on this map, given the aim consistency picks in this pool. I think this is one of the harder maps in the pool overall. You know, this is one of those skill cap abuse maps where the teams who are incredibly good, who are favored to go into those later rounds, definitely pick this against some of those lower seeded teams who just might not have that level of mastery over the skill set to be able to put up fantastic scores on this. But Machine, mrekk, Suffix, all very, very strong alt players. Dumii as well, no slouch on this skill set. WhiteCat, Criller, Okinamo, and Dustice, though, that's a very scary roster for Germany. It's the same one that we saw just put up those scores on NoMod 4 that got them that solidified breakpoint. Let's see how it goes here on the alt pick.
It's a really interesting crossover between NoMod 3 and NoMod 4 as picks. They're both heavy aim control picks. Their real purpose in the map pool. NoMod 4 this time, lots of linear patterns, lots of cut streams. This, you wiggle your cursor around a little bit more than normal. There's a couple of split doubles there. Justice finds a break on a very interestingly shaped stream. mrekk follows it up, however, with a much higher rack also, so advantage for him in terms of raw score at the moment. Advantage accuracy for Germany, however.
Dustice overall having a little bit more trouble with this map than mrekk, though, finding a second set of breaks, dropping the accuracy, as you said. We did see a very early break from Machine, so there is that 50-60 combo advantage for one of the full combos from Germany, but that accuracy, man, coming out from these FCs is doing more work than the combo that are good right now. Dumii, however, dropping down for Australia. He was their highest stack full combo player, now no longer on that FC. It's Machine and Suffix. Machine basically on the full combo, right, not too far off of one. But WhiteCat, Criller, and Okinamo all still holding these FCs for Germany. Is really big for them right now. It's going to help them get that score lead that they really want to see. But Okinamo now dropping down means that this is once again a very contested pick. WhiteCat and Criller versus Machine and Suffix on those high combos. You do have an extra supporting combo from mrekk over Dustice right now, and Dumii with a higher combo than Okinamo. So this is overall combo lead for Australia right now. It's going to start pulling that score lead back over to Team Blue, and you can see it about to swap over right now. Nobody getting tripped up on that cut double stream. Going now into the breakdown section. This is likely one of the hardest parts of the map.
Indeed, you have to change a lot between linear aim, back and forth aim as well, and it catches Machine.
It catches suffix as well. That is huge for Australia. Both of those full combos drop down during that section, and no combo breaks for Germany whatsoever. WhiteCat and criller still on these FCs. WhiteCat, as of recent, has been one of the single best alt players in tournament. You look at his performance in Corsace Open 2020 or 2021, excuse me, with Team and he was consistently one of the best players on any alt pick. And he's showing it off once again here. That is a 1/100 full combo from WhiteCat right now. Even with that extra drop from Dumii and Machine, even with mrekk still holding on for Team Australia, I mean, look at these plays coming out from criller and WhiteCat right now. This is why people are talking up this team as a potential to beat the United States this year. These types of team performances are just ridiculous from Germany right now, and a second break point ready to be consolidated for the match as well.
Indeed, if they do take their next pick, match point, they take it. Absolutely crazy team score. 1/100 from WhiteCat, 5 from criller. Dustice bringing back a 1.2k combo after his early mishaps. Okinamo, I think, splitting his combo in half. Missing at the 800 combo mark. And of course, there's a great demonstration of the area, the place in the map where you miss really decides your end score. We can talk about Core V2 being balanced towards AC rather than combo, but you break your combo in half, you get 650k, just like Okinamo did, with really high accuracy also, I might add. And then we look at the NoMod too, we look at WhiteCat's miss on that. He's still got 915. Was a miss 100 combo in. We really want to be looking out for anything that resembles a reverse choke. Anyone missing directly in the middle of the map can have a real impact on the result.
It's definitely those types of misses in the middle of the map that Australia wants to be avoiding from now. If you are Germany in this situation with how the match has played out, what do you look to as sort of a very confident pick to help close out the match? You know, the one pick that you've lost so far is NoMod 2, but the rest of these maps, a little bit control focused, a little bit speed focused. Where do you look?
See, I was gonna immediately suggest Hard Rock 1. These guys, their Hard Rock roster on Germany is crazy. It is unparalleled almost. They have some insanely high accuracy players, insanely consistent players on the Hard Rock. Australia have some great players in their own right. Milo Milkshake. mrekk, of course, on Hard Rock is no slouch. Jordan the Bear, you see him appear on these mechanics. 7-star TV size, pure aim man. But in a tournament on a map that's 4 minutes long, I would almost say very generic. It wouldn't have been back in the day, back in the time it was mapped. Lots of kick sliders, lots of longer sliders to follow also. Streams here and there, but it's mostly jumps. The rhythm gets interesting, of course, because it's a new sound map, but granted that, still a very good Hard Rock 1 candidate. Get some incredibly high accuracy on this, which I think we're going to see out of Germany. They've got the roster WhiteCat, criller, Aloe, and Dustice. Okinamo switching out, not really a Hard Rock favoured player. And this is a strong pick. They're picking this, they want to close it out. They want to take this point. Shut down the match. Make sure that they move on to the quarterfinals. 。 . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . 。 . . . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 .
I do think that this is an interesting pick into Australia as well. We talked about before the match started, Germany with this really crazy hard rock roster right here. Hallowatcher, Criller, WhiteCat, Dustice on this map is a fantastic combination for sure. But these players from Australia, I think, are all very, very solid on hard rock. You've got Vivace, who has been known in free mod picks to prefer that hard rock, even on CS 6.5 picks. You've got Jordan the Bear, very storied hard rock aim player for Team Australia here, their captain coming in for this map. mrekk, of course, is going to be solid on this pick, and then Milo Milkshake is, contrary to what his profile would have you believe, a hard rock main, one of the better hard rock tech players in the game right now. Some very, very crazy scores on weird slider aim maps. Definitely going to find this a bit generic for him. So I'm looking to this Australia team and I'm thinking this is potentially a map where they can still contest, even if Germany does have that confidence. We do see an early break from Dustice. Not going to matter quite as much. We talked in between these maps about how Score V2 works. Got that focus on the max combo rather than consistent combo, so Dustice still with a lot of potential combo left up in the map to accrue.
There's a break from Hallow as well. Accuracy got himself, not finding the aim consistency he would like today. Milo following up a quick trade, but still one that comes out well for Australia.
This time and again, though, the extra full combos for Australia tend to drop down in some of these crucial moments throughout this match. And there goes Vivace's combo as well, right about halfway through. That is that spot you don't want to break in, and we saw both Milo and Vivace break for Team Australia at that point. hallowatcher the only one to trade, but there goes WhiteCat's combo as well now in that halfway point. It's just Criller left up with the FC for Germany right now, and suddenly this rock-solid roster that we've seen for them on some previous picks is starting to look a little shaky. The cracks are showing for Team Australia right now, and they're trying to pry the crowbar in. They're trying to get a way back into this match, wedge themselves back in here. Jordan and mrekk holding on to these FCs as best they can. Milo Milkshake with that supporting combo, going to need to hold it, matching up against hallowatcher right now. He drops down as well for Germany, so it is just Criller and Dustice really with any combo to speak of. So big advantage for Australia. The longer they hold it, the more buffer they have in case of those breaks. There goes Jordan, misses on one of those kick sliders, finds the slider break in that speedier section. It's mrekk versus Criller right now on the full combos. The supporting combos are still there for Vivace and Milo Milkshake. hallowatcher having a little bit of extra trouble with this pick. I think that there's enough buffer to hold it out until the end, but it's only about 100k. This is still very close going into the ending.
Despite the break from WhiteCat, this could still swing. They're within striking distance, but closing out. Keeping it safe, holding it into their chest. The lead very slowly closing, and in a perfect world, if this map was to continue on to infinity, then Germany would have taken this, but map's end. Australia take another break point. There has only been one conversion. There has only been 1 point in this match so far, I think, that hasn't been a break point. That's crazy. And it does say something about the state of these players, of these teams. Could it be the expectations? When you pick a map, say, you think, I'm picking this because we're going to play well on it. But when you pick a map like that, and you have those expectations, you try really hard to meet them, and that sometimes can lead to misreads, that can lead to maybe trying too hard to FC a map, and not putting up the score you know you can put up. Am I sounding crazy? Does that make sense?
It's the pressure, right? It's the pressure that weighs down when you are expected to come out on top, when you are expected to do well on those sorts of things. It's the reason why lower seeded teams so often in these early rounds are able to pick up a point or two here and there against teams who, in a perfect environment, no nerves whatsoever, you would say 99 times out of 100 always win every single map, right? It's that pressure that makes it so much easier for those lower seeded teams to pick up those 1 or 2 points here and there throughout a match, and it's that pressure that makes it so much harder to convert in these early rounds where you know any miss is super important. It's the full combos that are almost expected in round of 32, round of 16 from these types of teams where you have just monsters on both rosters, right?
Indeed, yeah, and you could look at both of these teams and say they can four-way every single map in these pools. On any one day, essentially, they will have 4 players to put in the lobby that can all produce FCs. It's an interesting one. NoMod 2. Is this Australia's trump card? Is this the last pick, the best pick, the one that's going to win them this match? We will see, I suppose. Mapped by Flask, its approach rate 8, as is every good reading map. OD8, so that accuracy is not too strenuous. 144 BPM. It's 2 minutes in length. This could be over in a flash, really. 5.5 stars also, so the aim mechanics requirement is not too difficult. There's a few space triples here and there that aren't really reflected in the star rating, but mostly it's just reading, getting your rhythms right, making sure you don't stumble on perfect stacks. Really enjoyable map, this one. I really enjoyed practicing this.
This map is one of the more interesting ones in the pool for sure. There's a lot of throwbacks to how these types of taiko songs have been mapped traditionally in Standard, with a lot of linear grid snap aim as well that you talked about. But just to talk about the teams a little bit, when we have everything on the line for Australia right now, right? The winner's bracket run is on the line for Australia.
Indeed, yeah.
And match point for Germany. When you are forced into your last pick with that kind of pressure, you want something that you know you have an advantage on. You take a look at the qualifier scores for both of these teams on Hidden 2, and it is an 800,000 score advantage for Australia. That is massive. That is a huge score lead. That is 200k average on each player for Australia. And that is without mrekk, by the way. So you add in mrekk, and the expectation, once again, is that Australia can put up an absolutely huge team score on this pick. We talked about Hidden potentially being something that they are fantastic on. We do see a couple early breaks from Jordan and Dumii. We do see early match breaks for WhiteCat and Okinamo as well. Criller and hallowatcher, alongside mrekk and Machine holding on to those full combos. We do see a break from mrekk as I say that as well. So it is 1 full combo to 2 right now in the favor of Germany. The accuracy as well doing them quite a few favors right now for Team Germany.
Here comes the space triples that I was talking about. You see the spacing start to increase on these. Everyone hitting them so far. Okinamo, Machine, Jordan, all trading breaks. Dumii as well, so that's 3-1. And it's Germany coming out ahead. Criller, hallowatcher. Both still on the FCs, and WhiteCat comboing through that section with 200 now. Far more than a match for mrekk, and Australia really struggling with this. This might be this might have been the blunder of the century.
It just might have been, whether it's the expectations and the pressure, or whether it's the type of map that is in this slot this week. This is a lot less standard than anything that we've seen in weeks prior. This is definitely not a pick that worked out in Australia's favor. This is basically said and done. Map is almost over at this point, and Criller is looking to put up the highest accuracy full combo on it in this lobby. We see hallowatcher still on the FC as well for Germany. Those are 2 really fantastic scores. It looks like Criller did freeze up a bit there near the end, but this is really
regardless, they won without his score.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is over 1 million team score higher for Germany. What a way to close it out. Another break point. 6 out of 7 points in this lobby have been break points, but that last one was incredibly dominant for Team Germany.
Yeah, that was quite, I think the word one-sided, is that word hyphenated word? 2 words, one-sided. That was quite a dominant showing, yeah. Germany, even okinamo, the player you'd expect to play out of his mind on that sort of thing, was the lowest score in the lobby, and that shows how well-rounded they are. Even on their weakness, AR8 Hidden historically has been banned by Germany in every single round of every single OWC. But they leave it open this year, they take it, and it puts them into the quarterfinals.
What a way to do it as well. You know, super wide variety of maps that they played on, and lots of different people going off on different picks. We saw the Dustice Okinamo duo do work as always for this team, but one player I think to shout out for this match is definitely Criller. He played 6 maps and full comboed 5 of them for Team Germany. That is a huge performance. That's the kind of performance that people expect out of WhiteCat on this roster, right? That is a massive job for him, and a fantastic job that he did for this team.
Yeah, brilliantly well done by him. I mean, any one of those players in this lobby could have put up 5 out of 6 FCs, and Criller was the one to do it against the nerves that he must have been feeling, all of the pressure weighing down on a new player, I think, to the roster in Criller. He shows why he's on there.
He definitely has. There is no doubt in anyone's mind after this match that he is definitely deserving of that spot. Definitely some expectations for next week have been set up for him, but he has really performed in this match. That is going to do it for us, however, on Germany versus Australia. We do have another match coming up in about